Reshots. Yeah, we were discussing before the air about how you control your thoughts, and is a model that I was taught called the Kindling model, and it's thoughts, behavior, and emotions.
You know what it's like being bipolar? I do. Let me tell you a story.
Reshots. Yeah, we were discussing before the air about how you control your thoughts, and is a model that I was taught called the Kindling model, and it's thoughts, behavior, and emotions. And I was taught by certain psychiatrists that you can't control your thoughts, you can't control your emotions, but you can control your behavior. And I believe from a spiritual perspective that God said that you need to cast down bring all your thoughts into subjection, and cast down anything that exalts itself against God. This is the area that Satan affects us. And if you just go back to the basics and you remember when in the garden, when God told Adam not to do something, and he said, don't do this. And if you do it, you're going to die. And when Satan intervened, he told Eve, he said, you won't surely die. What did he do? He changed her thinking, which changed her behavior.
Wow.
That's powerful.
That is powerful. That's deep. So, what is it that you would like to say to our listeners concerning your book, and what was the purpose? Why did you start the preparing of this book? Why did you write this book?
I wrote that book because I went through a lot with being bipolar. I wasn't aware of me being bipolar until I was in the military.
Okay, all right.
And I was medically discharged because of it.
Okay.
And I talk about it in my book. And when I went through that period, it was very devastating.
Okay.
Because I pretty much lost everything. Okay. I was at a place of ecstasy. I had built a house. I was 21 years old, had a house built. I had a mobile car wash. I had degrees I just finished. I was Airman of the Year. And then, boom, they put me in a psych ward.
Oh, wow.
And then they kicked me out because I was bipolar. So over the years, what I've done is I had to annotate what was happening, mm-hmm. because there was so many things occurring constantly. And as I read Isaiah chapter 48, verse 10, he says that I didn't try you as silver, but in the furnace of affliction. Okay, so that I can get the glory. So I had to show what that affliction looked like.
Okay.
And then I had to realize, I said, you know what? I'm mentally ill. My father's mentally ill. My father didn't become stable ever. He lost his mind and never recovered.
Wow.
So when I went through my process, I was going through a process where that generational curse was affecting me. So I didn't get to this place until I had love. Okay. I didn't get to this place until my support system was correct. Okay. Because mental illness, you can't fight it by yourself.
Now, that's important. You speak about your support system.
Right.
I think it's very important to have a great support system. And without it, your family, your friends, your loved ones, your spouses, your significant others, because without it, I mean, you're searching and you're looking and you have no one to reach for.
Right.
So I know we practice even on our show, positive energy. Right. And it's so important to reach for that positive energy from out there from others.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's great. And positive mental health allows one to reach their full potential and live a healthy life. Mm-hmm. So I just wanted to talk about mental health. We don't talk about, I was just talking about off air, that we don't talk about mental health like we should. Mental health is so prevalent, and we shun away from it, or we hide it up under the rug and we don't talk about it. But it's evident that it's is going on.
Yeah.
I mean, on a day-to-day, you can walk down the street and see somebody suffering from mental health.
Right.
They may not be diagnosed,
Right.
but you can see it. And that, I mean, we need to be mindful on how we treat people,
Right.
how we act towards one another. And that was one of the conversations that we had even on yesterday. It's so serious, just reaching out to handling people the way we want to be handled.
Right.
And I know Breon had something. I'm sorry. Ray Shots.
Oh, I got a
had something.
question as well.
Okay,
But
questions.
You go.
Go ahead. Go ahead with your question.
Well,
man.
do you feel like by that small, well, I wouldn't say small, but that big task you have to take on in your life by learning that, like maybe you do have like mental illness as a person, do you feel like that made you a better person and actually showed you who you are, but not on a bad side, but more of like, okay, well, now I realize why I feel the way I do at times. Now I realize like maybe like when I'm feeling down or when I'm feeling like my day is just like this is why, and now I know how to deal with it.
That's a good question. I think that's a very good question. It brings me to the place of understanding yourself. And the Bible says in James that you need to consider your ways, right? And you need to pretty much know who you are, right? So that's called introspection. So, yeah, I do feel like bipolar has brought awareness to who I am because it brought out all these emotions. It's a mood disorder,
right? Which
is emotions, right? So the question is, why do they have emotional instability? What causes that? Does emotional instability come from the brain not forming correctly? Does it come from chemicals being imbalanced?
Wow.
Right.
Or does it come from not having the right love as a child? Who knows?
I feel like it's all the above because we
Absolutely.
don't know what's
Yeah.
in the food we eat. I mean, we walk outside to polluted energy. So, it could be a lot of several ways that, we catch that type of vibe.
Yeah, that's true. I agree. Yeah.
So, MJ, do you have anything that you would like to add?
I did want to say something.
Okay, go ahead.
You said something about seeing people on the street and seeing evidence. You can look at me, you don't see it.
You don't.
So I think that is the issue because mental illness is not what you think it is. See, you could see a person who's the most beautiful person.
That's true. But when I was speaking of people that you see acting out.
You can see it,
and you can see it,
evident.
and it's evidence,
right.
and you like, wow,
they
got some issues. They got some things going on.
It's extreme.
What's up with them? It's extreme.
Right.
And so that's true. You don't see it, and you're wondering like. I mean, well, you don't know, so you don't wonder. You like you said, you can't tell by looking at a person. Like I would never know from you just looking at you. Right. And I mean, like other people. MJ said that she was, went through some things as a child. We don't know. I went through some things as a child, and I have some things going on within myself.
Right.
Nobody would know. So you're right. And if you want to continue with that.
Well, see, you got to also realize too that the spiritual part of you, God said that he gives you gifts. You could discern things about people. So even though you can't see it, because the Bible says out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So whatever's in you is going to speak. Right. That's why when Jesus was doing his work, people were speaking out. The man that was out of his mind with all the demons in him, he walked up to him. Them demons had to speak. So the thing about it is, that's why he says you're born in sin and you're shaped in iniquity.
Absolutely.
Everybody is shaped with something. Everybody has to get delivered from something. Just because you believe don't mean you don't have to fight with demons.
Absolutely.
Now that area right there is the area that a lot of ministers struggle with, because some people think, well, since I believe in Jesus, I can't have a demon. But the Bible don't say that. The Bible says you got power to cast them out. But what if you don't get them cast out? Right. You go to church and you say, I accept Jesus. Does that mean the demons leave you? Because if you've been living with them all this time, well, they just going to leave you. You think it's that easy? No.
Absolutely.
So I think, and as I study this, which is my second book that I'm writing, is talking about this. It's talking about the in-depth processes of dealing with not this spooky mysticism demons, but I think demons could be emotional issues. I think demons could be if your father wasn't there. Now you're abandoned. Now you got problems emotionally because you didn't get that father figure. Or it could be that your mama gave you up and abandoned you. Or it could be that you was raped. Or it could be that you were anything. You was insecure. You was overweight. These are demons.
Yes.
It's not just the fact that something jumped in you. No, what formed in you. So what formed in you needs to come out of you.
Wow.
So that's my perspective. And I think people are so in the dark when it comes to this. That's why I wrote this book, to shed light on what it's like to live a life of bondage. And then to also have the Holy Spirit at the same time. So people don't understand that there's light and darkness, right? Okay,
That's
I'm sorry.
true. No
Now,
apology. No apology.
Before we do take this quick intermission, I got a quick question for you.
Hold on, right before that hits, I just want to let you all know that we're talking to Chucky Thomas. Get this book, you all, Light Switch, the Bipolar Preacher. If you need to know where you can get this book, please call in and ask questions, comments, concerns, whatever you have. Our number is 331-330-4927. Again, we're talking to Chucky Thomas, the author of Light Switch, the Bipolar Preacher. Hits, you said that you had something you wanted to speak to us
All right,
about.
quick little 30-second question for you. Now, do you agree or disagree? Do you feel like a lot of people, because I really feel like everybody in this world has mental issues, but I feel like it's hidden by you trying to bring out a different persona through perfections that you really don't have. So do you feel like majority of the population hides their mental issues and disabilities due to the fact that they're trying to be somebody that they're not, or trying to put on a personification of someone that they're not?
I think that it could be both. They're not aware, I don't think some people don't know what's really wrong with them, because some people don't have. See, my issue is exacerbated, right? It's extreme. If I didn't have the extreme case, I probably wouldn't even care about taking medicine.
All right, you all. Keep it locked right here. Keep it locked. We got some great things coming up for you on mental health awareness, and bipolar. It's your girl, Kaya Love, and we'll be right back. Windy City Underground, your music, your station.
Oh, it's Windy City Underground, your music, your station, and we are here with this morning
Create Life with Kaya and the crew. Hey, y'all. It's your girl, Kaya Love.
Good morning. The crew is definitely here. We hope you're enjoying your morning. Right now, the time is 9:24. Thank you for joining us on this Wednesday morning.
And we got a very special guest for anybody that's just now tuning in.
All right, you all. So we have with us today the author, Chucky Thomas, of Light Switch, the Bipolar Preacher. So we're speaking on mental health awareness, and we're speaking on bipolar this morning. Very prevalent topic on today. So we went over a few things concerning mental health and bipolar. Very interesting. If you missed it, I'm sorry.
Recap.
Right. But anyway, so I just wanted to say, if you're feeling depressed and are overwhelmed by anxiety or stress, relate to others inappropriately, or have a history of trauma or abuse that triggers flashbacks or other symptoms, then your mental health likely is preventing you from leading the life you truly want to lead. Can you say anything concerning that, Mr.
Sure.
Chucky Thomas?
See, I'm a veteran, right? So I was in the military, and we're trained to deal with a lot of situations, right? Warfare,
all right.
Protecting the country, using weapons, use of force. I was a policeman, so I was trained to use force and exercise different decisions.
Okay.
But then, a lot of veterans come back and they're traumatized.
Okay.
They can't cope. Mm-hmm. Some of them get on drugs. Some of them deal with what's called PTSD.
Okay.
Some people deal with all various issues, anxiety issues. Some people become alcoholics. Some people kill themselves, right?
Wow.
So, yeah. And then some people, like the Vietnam vets, they have flashbacks of the war. They keep, if they hear fireworks, they think about gunshots. They get traumatized, right? Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Now, people who don't go into the military, you may be traumatized by something too. You may have thoughts of something that triggers emotional response. You may have something going on in your mind because your mind can connect to your emotions. So, holidays or seeing your children grow up and people not being there for your children, all this stuff affects us.
Okay.
So, trauma, anxiety, because they have a book, the DSM-V. Okay. And a psychologist.
Can you let us know, just for our listeners, what is that, the DSM-V?
Diagnostical Statistical Manual.
Okay.
And it has all of the mental illness diagnosis in it.
Okay.
And this is what the psychiatrists use.
Okay. All right.
It talks about.
So hold on one second. Mm-hmm. So again, we're talking about mental health and mental health awareness. And we have the author here with us today, Chucky Thomas. And he's the author of Light Switch, the Bipolar Preacher. And we were just talking about the what triggers mental health. And do you all know that mental health is a disorder that has unique symptoms? Doctors are looking for the symptoms when making the diagnosis. And sometimes the symptoms are not always there. But then when they are there, they're able to diagnose the problem and diagnose the issue. So Ray Schatz would like to ask a question.
Yeah, Mr. Thomas. So I want to ask you, regards to the recent suicide that's going on around the country with these celebrities.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, with the suicide situation, do you think that a sane person, someone who is well in their mind, can commit suicide, can kill themselves?
That's a good question. I think sanity. I think anybody could get depressed.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I don't think you have to be mentally ill to be depressed.
Yes.
All right.
Depression can come because of various issues.
Mm-hmm.
I think it could be chemical and spiritual, and everybody is subjected to that.
Okay.
Yeah, but what I'm asking you about the state of mind a person is in at the time of committing suicide, do you think that's a sane person? Because I don't believe so. I believe at the state of mind a person in to kill themselves, it have to be something else take over the mind, like demons or something. That's what I believe, because, just think about it, like someone who is well or someone who is like really sane in their mind, like you're not just going to take a knife and push it to yourself or tie yourself. Right. Like at that time, I believe the person mind gone, like the mind is gone at that time of taking their life. That's what I believe. Do you share that view?
Well, I think if that's the case, then that means Job was insane because he wanted to kill himself. I think Elijah was insane because he wanted to kill himself. I think David was insane because he wanted to kill him. So when you say insane, what does that mean? Because we all can get to a low point. You can lose a wife. You can lose a husband. And you don't want to live no more. Does that mean you're mentally ill, or does that mean that your heart is in a place where you don't want to live?
I definitely don't. It's two things I'm hearing in the conversation. One, we throwing around the word depression a lot. And I feel like depression is just an easy way to encompass all that's wrong, because you said earlier, it's different levels of depression. So just saying the person is depressed don't really help you at all understand what they're going through. And then as far as suicide, I don't feel like everyone's mentally ill. I feel like if you are a very sane person and you looking at the world going on around you, the stuff will depress you. 4 little girls' bodies was found yesterday. That right there can send anybody into depression if it touches your spirit, especially when you read what was happening to these little girls' bodies. Not saying you would commit suicide over that, but if it's a situation where it's like you said, it's just different variables, and sometimes you just feel like it's not getting better, it's not going to get better. A lot of times, because when I was suicidal, I never wanted to die. As crazy as that sounds, I wanted the pain to be over. I wanted hopelessness to be over. And then you kind of get to a place where you might feel right. I didn't want to die.
I never.
I wanted it to be over. And some people don't understand that.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but I never heard that before, because people get in a frenzy and they the thing that they want to do is end it.
Right.
But end it in death. And
Right.
for me to hear you say, I never wanted to die. I just
Yes.
wanted the pain to go away.
Right.
That's big.
Right. And
That's-
that's a way you have to view it to understand if you could pull yourself out. Like where am I really at? What is causing my depression? A lot of people, depending on your level of depression, you could pull yourself out to me. If your depression comes from, like you said, seasonal changes, it comes from circumstance, you have to understand circumstance change.
Absolutely.
So when you kind of find the root of the depression, your mama died. Now you know I'm not getting the right grief counseling. Like once you find the root of what's really making you sad, and making you feel hopeless, I feel like then you could start the process of pulling yourself out. But I don't want to label nobody as insane, because if they're having those emotions right now, you know, that can make them, this is so touchy. Because if somebody's ready to die right now and they're listening to this, what we say is saving their life.
Absolutely.
So it's one of those things like, bro, I don't think you're insane. I understand you. Like, I understand feeling like I just don't want to watch my people struggle no more, or I'm just not strong enough. God, I'm sorry. A lot of people, before they kill themselves, they do repent and they're begging God, because you just wanted that pain to be over. Or like bipolar. My ex-best friend is bipolar. She used to say all the time, I just want to feel normal. I just want to feel like myself. So she was like, the only way I could get out of that is possibly commit suicide, because she's locked in her mind.
So I want to ask you all a question. So what are the general signs? Like, what are the indications that some type of mental illness is present in a person? Like, what are they experiencing?
Body language.
What are you experiencing when
the way a person,
when personality change?
No, so okay, personality change. That's good. But hey, you all, I want to talk to Chucky Thomas right now concerning that, because he, not that no one else had experienced it, but he wrote this book called Light Switch, the Bipolar Preacher. And you all, I mean, get this book, because I was just,
even if you're not suffering from it, to understand everyone else.
Absolutely.
You know
Absolutely.
What I'm saying? To have that type of compassion.
Absolutely.
And so we don't use words like insane and things like that, so we don't put them stigmas on people, because no, you think different.
Absolutely.
You had a trauma.
Absolutely. So, Chucky Thomas, can you just give me some examples of what type of things, what are the signs, the indication that someone may be having a mental health breakdown?
Sure. First off, the book is on Amazon.com.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that, Chucky Thomas.
Light Switch, the Bipolar Preacher by Chucky Thomas. The signs, right? So, in my book, I talked about bipolar and I talked about schizophrenia.
Oh, wow. Okay.
My father's schizophrenic. I'm bipolar.
Okay.
Those are the two major mental illnesses, right?
Okay. All right.
They're different. So a bipolar person. Yeah, I give a brief synopsis. Bipolar. When you're showing signs of mania, because it's two different states you could be in.
Okay.
Especially when you're off balance. Mania, and you could be depressed. Now they also have something cyclomedia, which is a shift between mania and depression. And this means you could rapidly cycle. You could go from feeling good to feeling depressed all in the same day or same hour. And you can have rapid speech. You can have euphoria. You can have no sleep.
I'm sorry. Can you expound on euphoria?
Euphoria is a place where you're eccentric and everything feels good. Everything is creative, bliss, happiness, joy. It feels like the Holy Spirit or something.
Okay.
That's what you think. Euphoria is a grandiose state of mind. Everything is grandiosity. Euphoria. So that's one part. Then you have the rapid speech. A lot of people who, because you asked me about signs, people that have rapid speech, they talk really fast. You can't keep up with them. Okay.
All right, you all. I just want you to keep it locked. Keep it locked. We got some good things coming forth to you all. Keep it locked right here on Windy City Live. Windy City Underground. Your music, your station. Check us out. Keep it locked. All right, you all. Welcome back, Windy City Underground. Your music, your station. This Kaya Love. We're here with Chucky Thomas, the author of The Light Switch, the Bipolar Preacher. We got some great things. I want to talk about personality changes, the signs that include but not limited to personality changes, changes in eating and sleeping patterns, problems coping with normal stress or daily activities, strange or grandiose ideas, excessive anxiety, prolonged depression or apathy, thinking or talking about suicide, substance abuse, extreme mood swings, excessive anger, hostility, and violent behavior. Is there anything you want to speak on concerning those signs, symptoms, Mr. Chucky Thomas?
Sure. Some of the signs, that you go through when you're depressed, you may not eat as much. You may sleep a lot. You may have what's called anhedonia, which means that you don't have as much interest in things that was pleasurable. You may withdraw from people. You may isolate, and you may have problems coping. And when you have problems coping, you may use what you need, what you think is right for you, which may be whatever it is, like drinking.
Okay.
For me, it was gambling.
Okay.
I had a gambling addiction for a long time. And then it would be to just try to find a way to feel better, because you want to feel something. And I'm going to give you an analogy. There's this story of a moth going into a ring of fire. And he knows that he's going to die if he goes through the ring of fire. But he goes because right before he hit the fire, he feels the most alive. So I think sometimes we put ourselves in situations where we want to feel alive again. Even if it kills us. Even if it kills us. So I think that I went through some problems. And I'm going to touch on something right now that's really important to talk about, because anger is something that really could have been a life and death situation with me, and I'm gonna tell you, my major trigger is my son, not being able to spend time with him correctly, or feeling like his mother's withdrawing him from me. And it sends me to a place where I do want to kill somebody. So because of that, I have to hospitalize myself. I take myself to the hospital and I commit myself to the psych ward until I get better. Because if I kill somebody because of this emotional issue, because it takes me there, it makes me go to a place where I'm ready to kill somebody. Now, do I really want to kill somebody? No, I don't. But that emotion gets so bad that because I love my son so much, because it's a connection there, it's a bond there. And so now I look at his mom as the enemy.
Wow.
So that takes me to a place where I will kill you, because now you're making me feel this anger. You're making this lion come out of me.
Right.
Is that God? No, I don't think that's God. And I'm a minister, but I think that's the enemy.
I would say no, it's not God. So yeah,
God.
You're right.
You
Absolutely.
fight me in my emotions.
Absolutely.
That's spiritual warfare. So that's an example of while you're going through these processes, the devil fights you. He fights your mental health. He fights you with stuff that's close to you. He can't get to you without getting close to you.
Exactly.
So if he can't get you from the outside, he gets you from the inside.
Absolutely.
So that means when you go home, your husband, your wife, your children, those are your triggers.
Yep.
Those are your triggers.
Yep.
So you talked about manic behavior. So a manic episode is a period, like you said, of feeling intensely energized, irritable, and impulsive, while a depressive episode is a period of intense sadness or hopelessness, often accompanied by fatigue. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can have mixed states too. Like I said, you could shift day to day with being bipolar, depending on your medication, depending on your stressors, depending on your environment. All these are contributing factors.
So I have a different perspective concerning the mental health. So MJ, during our break, she was talking about a different side. So earlier you talked about having that support system and how well it was for you, how you were able to lean on people. Well, MJ, one of our co-hosts, she has a different perspective concerning that. MJ?
Right. So my experience with mental health, I grew up with a depressed mom. So just to make this as quick and as fast as possible, my mom was a daddy's girl. You know, they're immigrants, and then they came and moved to Kentucky, so they're country on top of that. Then she came to Chicago. So she had her dad, her granddad, and my father, her husband, completely taking care of her. In 18 months, okay, my mom got pregnant with me at 45. So by the time I was 18 months, her father died, her husband died, and her grandfather died. My mama was a stay-at-home mama. You know, like all the women in my family, we're very domestic. We really play that wife role. So now that I'm older, I understand that was complete. Like, how am I even going to feed my kids, even though they left her stuff? And she misused the money because I feel like she felt like it was dirty. Like, she got this money because they died. So that wasn't even a bonus or a plus for her. And I just grew up with her sitting in the chair. She was the type of depressed that didn't get up. I don't know when she used the bathroom. I don't know when she ate, none of that. And for me, it was very hard because I always felt like, why am I not enough for my mama? I think that's why I'm so bubbly, because I was the only thing that made her smile. Like, I was the only thing that, so it was like I had to become a comedian, you know? And that was really hard. So growing up, your parents teach you coping mechanisms. My coping mechanism is to result in depression, like shut down, cut everybody off, because that's all I saw my mama do. Mm-hmm. And I was speaking, after I had my baby, I had bad postpartum. I was living in the house with this same mother, and I would come to her like, I'm falling to pieces, Mom. I'm losing my man. I have a 2-year-old. I have a newborn. I can't eat. I can't sleep. And what was hard, I feel like I would have did better if she didn't live in my house, because then I wouldn't even look for that support. I wouldn't even look for that help with my child. But by her sitting there, it was just horrible for me, because it kept making me feel like a little girl again, helpless again.
So because you didn't have that support system, and
right,
and you didn't have
and that was my situation. I told you, living in Indiana, real synopsis. So it resorted, I didn't have money to get medicine, nor did I have a way to get to the doctor. So everything about my depression was beating my own mind. And y'all spoke on all the factors that I think really play into depression. What am I eating? Like, I had to get so deep, like, what am I eating?
So just to stop you, I remember early on in the show, you spoke about how people are depressed and they want to kill themselves, and you just want whatever to be over. So you said something different, though. You said that you didn't want to kill yourself. Yeah. You wanted something different. You just wanted it to be over.
Now, to be honest, I wanted to create life, like what this show was about.
Wow.
I wasn't living in my greatness. I wasn't doing what my passion was. I wasn't talking to positive people. I was getting on social media. So for me, I had to come up with real life actionable things I could implement in my life to change my man. I also disagree with the you don't control your thoughts, because I'm a corrector of my thoughts. I will not let a negative thought sit in my mind.
Well,
I feel it.
Facts.
I'm automatically on that thought, like, no, you can't do it, or, this isn't, or whatever.
But that works for you. It's different strokes for different folks. Absolutely.
What works for you. But one thing you can do with depression, you can't cop out and you can't not try.
Yeah, you can't fold.
You know what I'm saying? If you say, well, damn, I done took the medicine, I'm talking to a therapist. Okay, well, maybe your depression is something internal that you could fight through.
Wow.
And you got to be honest, and you got to look at your circumstances. You got to look at, is your diet all McDonald's? Do you have vegetables? Just like medicine has an effect on our body, food has an effect on our body.
Absolutely.
Food can change your mood.
Absolutely.
So it's about holistically looking at, why am I not fulfilled? Do I watch a whole bunch of Facebook? Yeah, we'll be back. All
right,
you actually, you keep going. I got a question though to add on to that.
Okay, so let me intertwine this, because I feel like this is a big thing with our social media that can make us less depressed. Literally, my Instagram, everybody I follow makes me happy. No, I don't mean like it's cool. I mean, I follow my passion. So when I open my Instagram, that right there in my hand is a mood boost. And so when you're going on social media, why are you still following somebody you don't like? And every time they post something stresses you out. Why are you following somebody who life you envy? Why are you low-key putting yourself in a position to compete with somebody that don't even know you watching them? Why are you doing that to yourself? You could be putting yourself in that mental depression. Like, if I was to look at Cardi B, like, dang, I've been making videos as long as Cardi B. Look at what Cardi B did. We the same age. I'm going to be depressed with that thought process.
When we come back. So, all right, you all, keep it locked. Keep it locked. We're live. Keep it locked right here on Windy City Underground, your music, your station. Hey, if you have any comments, questions, concerns, or just want to reach out to us, please give us a call at 331-330-4927. Again, keep it locked right here, Windy City Live, WindyCityLiveUnderground.com.
Windy
Excuse
City
me.
Underground, your music, your station.
Thank you.
Yo, it's Windy City Underground, your music, your station. You are here with Create Life with Kaya and the crew.
Yes, we are enjoying ourselves. So today,
And we have a very powerful
Yes.
guest speaker that is
Yes.
coming through to bless us with some knowledge and understanding for you guys to pay attention to and be very attentive to.
Yes, we have Chucky Thomas in the building. He is the author of Light Switch, the Bipolar Preacher. Again, that's Chucky Thomas. And you can go pick this book up on Amazon. It's really dope. We've been talking to him for the first 4 hours of the show. I've learned so much. And it's really been a pleasure to have you here.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
I also have a quick question for you. Now, I tend to see a lot of people that deal with depression or have like very serious issues. Like me being the type of friend I am, I feel like I have the mental ability and strength, not saying I'm perfect because I'm not, but I just feel like my purpose is to uplift people, encourage people, and, like steer people the right way instead of, feeling like you got to give up or you got to go to the highest extent possible to find some type of special help when you could just come to somebody that actually understands regardless of the situation, just that it's a way to get through something. Right. So I tend to see, and I use a prime example, my ex-girlfriend. Like I tried to help her out for 2 years straight with like every problem possible. But one thing that I also read in a book is that we can't help everybody.
That's true.
No matter how hard and no matter how much you try to help somebody, being a person that you are, you'll tear yourself down and mentally disappoint yourself trying to help everybody.
That's true.
So my question to you is, do you feel being a person that doesn't know any better, like you don't have no sense of direction and you believe just off of what someone will tell you, that if I'm a friend and you're going through something, post-depression or whatever, and I'm asking you like, okay, man, like just talk to me. Do you feel like it's okay to let me down and receive professional help just because that's a professional? But before you answer, at the same time, is that professional actually helping you? Are they really trying to get deep into what's going on with you, or are they just taking up your time so they can do their job and go about their day? Because I used to specialize in that field and I actually wanted a degree in psychology, but God took me other places. So,
So I think in order to address the issues, because that's really an issue of deliverance.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, the psychologist, the psychiatrist is there to help you with your physiological state. But you also need a minister to help you with the spiritual state. Right. So I think it actually needs to be combined. I think that you need support from your spiritual and you need support from your medical. It needs to coexist because they're not independent, they're interdependent. Because like you said, that ex-girlfriend who was depressed, you couldn't help her. Yeah. When you talked, you made me think about a story in the Bible. When Job was depressed, guess what? His friends tried to help him, but they couldn't, and they were negative. Yeah. Because they was trying to tell him, man, it's something you did. You must have sinned. They couldn't help him. Right. They was trying to give him wisdom. They was trying to, but those friends couldn't comfort him, right? So the thing about it is you got to be careful who your friends are.
That's true.
You got to be careful who your support system is.
Oh,
right?
my goodness.
Unfortunately, in the African-American community, because of slavery, our family was broken.
Exactly.
When was it built back? When did we have the right support system? Yeah, there are some good families out there. Yeah. Statistically, though, we probably have worse numbers than good. Right. So when did we have a rehabilitation phase? This is a pervasive generational issue. Exactly. Is mental illness a black thing? No. Every race deals with it. But it's exacerbated in our community.
Yeah, we just recycling it. We're not doing nothing about it. It's a recycling period.
So you all, I just want to go over the bipolar disorder. So bipolar disorder, people with type 1 bipolar disorder, sometimes referred to as manic depressive disorder, experience dramatic mood swings from periods of mania to periods of depression. So earlier I spoke about a manic episode is a period of feeling intensely energized, irritable, and impulsive, while a depressive episode is a period of intense sadness or hopelessness, often accompanied by fatigue. Symptoms of both periods are severe enough to cause major interference with your daily life. Wow. Episodes of mania and depression may continue throughout your life, but with treatment, they will be less frequent or less severe. Would you agree with that?
I do agree, because if I wasn't on medication right now, I would either be dead or in jail.
Okay. Wow.
And because, see, I've gone years without medication.
Okay.
I've gone years without listening to my doctor.
Okay.
I've gone years with just going to church and just trying to believe and have faith. And in those years, I kept getting depressed.
Wow.
I kept getting to the place where I couldn't function as much as I wanted to. So I got tired of it. I got tired of not being able to have stability.
Mm-hmm.
I got tired of the crying spells. I got tired of the sleepless nights. I got tired of the irritability with people.
Mm-hmm.
I got tired of all this angst. So I had to come to a place, because my minister, the minister that baptized me in the military, told me not to take medicine because it was going to kill me. And then he dropped dead because he didn't take his high blood pressure pills.
Wow.
He dropped dead. This man had 5 kids. He had a church he built. He was married, but he dropped dead getting off the treadmill, because in his mind, he said, all I got to do is exercise. Yeah, we got this holistic stuff and herbs and all that. Okay. If that works, we will be doing it, and the government will be making money off of it.
Absolutely.
So it doesn't make sense, because in your mind, you want to combat medicine. In the Black community, we don't accept it for some reason. Some reason is a stigma on going to the doctor for these issues.
Mm-hmm.
No, this thing is so serious. And if it's not taken care of, our children, because right now they got these kids on pills, they popping pills. Okay.
Oh, yes.
And this is messing up their mind. They listen to this. Listen to these little kids and their music. You see it. Look at what they talking about. Look at how they rapping. Look at the style. It's altering the brain. Look at the games that they playing so fast. Everything is fast. Okay.
Absolutely.
We're losing a generation. We already lost a generation. We already lost generations. What's going to happen now? They're closing down schools. Right?
Mm-hmm.
We don't have no after school programs like we used to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what's going to happen?
Right.
This is going to produce something.
Absolutely. It has already produced something.
Exactly.
I mean, people on a killing spree. Just in the news, they're talking about these ladies that are missing, being killed in the same place. And somebody's doing it.
Yes.
But the thing behind that is, not to cut you off,
I'm sorry. The organs missing.
We not doing nothing about it. Like, we worried about an artist that's coming to Chicago pulling marketing schemes. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I understand, like, y'all not deep into what really goes on in the entertainment business and marketing business, and y'all not sharp on that. But that's really what this is. And at the end of the day, in Chicago, like, we got so much minor problems that goes on due to how it got there in the first place, to where we can't come together and worry about what's really going on. Now, we got people posting videos with guns, assault rifles, grenades, cars full of dudes and stuff, etc. Like, why can't we do stuff like that when it comes down to our women missing? And I also saw a post on Facebook yesterday, just how ignorant people are. Oh, well, I really shouldn't even have to worry about this in the first place because it's not like it's my sister or something. Okay, so what if today it was?
Right.
It shouldn't matter, because at the end of the day, it's happening to our culture. So that lets me know that you're not in tune with our culture. You don't care. You too worried about such and such on TV arguing with a rapper from Chicago that they're just making money. They're building their network because that's marketing. Right. And if you don't understand that, you're lost. You just on the outside looking in, and that's what's going on with the surrounding that we in, and it's messed up for real.
And I think as it relates to music is nothing but art.
Yeah.
And in art, you just express a reality. So yeah, and our children, they expressing and showing guns. Our children are angry. They can't survive really now.
Right.
Education is not really helping them. The jobs market is changing. Everything is social media. Everything is fast paced, information age. And then the school system didn't produce a actual outlet for our children to actually be successful. Now they do have a school, urban prep.
Mm-hmm.
That's one. But that's an example of what we need. We need our children in schools like that so that we can.
What's so significant about urban prep?
Well, they have a system to produce kids to go to college, and they have like 100%.
Everybody
goes to college. That should be a standard. But unfortunately, because the school system is based off of tax dollars and property taxes, in these areas, these schools, they can't produce the school system that we need because the money is not in the community.
I definitely have to chime in on this though. So when we talking about the rap music, okay, people complain about Chief Keef, but y'all, well, not saying y'all, but to me, I feel society has to understand they're sharing their story. Just because, you know, if he didn't rap about it, he was still living through it. And I feel like we get madder that they're expressing the BS they grew up with than we do that he went through this. Like when he came out as a 14-year-old boy, why was he this tainted? And like you said, with, you know, Vietnam veterans, we have post-traumatic stress in the Black community, especially you got a 5 or 6-year-old watching somebody be murdered. They may watch 4 to 5 people be murdered every summer. They're watching them bleed out. They're watching the police not help. And then it's like, okay, right there, you can have a mental snap. You can have a mental breakdown. You know what I'm saying? And I think with following 69, our generation, you know, just came from drug addict parents who this new thing where we are addressing mental health was not for them. So these kids don't have the same type of mindset. We're blessed to have this overall bigger picture mindset. They have tunnel vision. A lot of kids, you were born in ghettos that's downtown, and they'll tell you, I've never been in Navy Pier. You know what I'm saying? So my mind can't comprehend or even grasp when they say ignorant statements. Whenever I hear somebody say something that ignorant, that's the person I more so want to talk to than somebody that gets it. I need to understand, why are you so disconnected from your community that you can see your next door neighbor every day but feel like she's kidnapped, but my sister cool?
Because it's a whirlwind of trauma. It's a whirlwind of things that's going on. These kids are seeing people, like you said, shot before them. I mean, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8-year-old. I mean, and they're only standing on the porch.
Right.
They're seeing it.
These is their brothers, their uncles, their cousins, and now their mothers. But piggybacking on what you said, I feel like 4 girls' bodies came up missing yesterday because the men wasn't on the block. People really don't understand. Y'all left y'all blocks to chase 69 around. Y'all left y'all women open. Ain't no other time these girls been coming up missing, but ain't no other time in one day 4 bodies came up. Y'all
in the same area. In the same area.
To cap off on that, basically that comes from that's false advertising.
Not standing.
I would like for our Black men to say, I know our women are going
to school, but you want to know why it's not going to happen though? But you want to know why it's happening, but that, on my block this morning. It was beautiful. And that's great, but that's your percentage versus this whole city. We need the whole city for this, because at the end of the day, that could happen just in your local area, but a few blocks away.
Let's not discredit all the Black men that's on Facebook right now putting together. Actually, y'all, this Saturday at 3 p.m. on 83rd and Western, they're coming together to have a meeting. But you know, I don't want to discredit them. Yeah, I want the whole city on it. Yeah. But it's like
we do gotta start. We do gotta start from somewhere. But my main problem is, if we gonna do that, then stop your distractions from other places, then, and just do what you need to do, and just stand up for your city. Because at the end of the day, you could be such and such, and I could be such and such, and we still beefing when we could be doing what we need to do.
Absolutely.
Like he said,
absolutely.
Your demons are formed in you. So if you had a drug addict parent, you that right there, you could be an angry, malicious person because you were formed with no love, no support.
That's
You
good.
right.
All right.
You just gonna switch.
All right, you all keep it locked. We got some things coming up after the break with Lady Ray. So keep it locked right here on Windy City Underground, your music, your stations, your girl Kaya Love. All right, you all, we're back on Windy City Underground, your music, your station. It's your girl Kaya Love. So I have before us today Lady Ray. She's going to go over some things that's happening in our community.
What's going on, y'all? Okay, ladies.
And
It's time to
gentlemen.
spring into health. We have a Mimamo community breast cancer screening event going on that's going to take place at Mile Square Health Center. That's 1220 South Wood Street. That's going to be, what's the date on here? What the date again? We're going to let y'all know that date in a second. Another thing going on Saturday, June 16th, 2018 from 9 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. is the Spring Back into Health Community Health Fair. That's going to be located at 2233 West 79th Street at Liberty Temple Full Gospel Church. Okay, so for the breast cancer
so it's no date. They could just give them the number and the
contact
information.
Paola Torres at 312-413-0119. We also gonna put this stuff on Kaya Love's page, Facebook page. Or you can contact Barbara Williams at 312-996-0055. Again, that's the Mammo Community Breast Cancer Screening.
And again,
the Spring Back into Health Community Health Fair. That's located at 2233 West 79th Street.
all right.
Full Gospel Church.
Is there a time on that?
This one will be from 9 a.m. to 2:30.
All right. So you all, those are some things happening locally in our community, in your community. I just want to go over the signs again. The signs, which include talking about mental health, bipolar, mental health awareness, personality changes in our eating and sleeping patterns, problems coping with normal stress or daily activities, strange or grandiose ideas, excessive anxiety, prolonged depression, and thinking or talking about suicide, substance abuse, extreme mood swings, excessive anger, hostility, or violent behaviors. So,
You forgot something.
I'm sorry, what's that?
Hyper religiosity.
Okay.
So a lot of people who are mentally ill, they show signs of hyper religiosity. They become extremely spiritual.
Oh, wow.
That's a symptom.
Okay.
And it's actually, you could be in psychosis with that.
Okay.
So that's actually one of the things that doctors observe, because on the psych ward, you have people who walking around like they're in another world, and they talk about things that they see that you can't see, but they see it.
Probably because they so drugged up in there.
Wow.
But some of them not drugged.
Wow.
Psych ward.
Some of them not. Some of them don't even take it. Some of them don't. They refuse it.
Yeah, I know.
But they're locked in there.
Yeah, I used to know someone that worked in the psych ward, and they can refuse,
They
the medicine,
Right.
as they
be in
can,
another place.
and they be in another place. And some people, they take the medicine, they're highly drugged. But Ray Schatz had said something during the break, and I just think that is very important. So I would want him to expound on that a little further. Ray Schatz?
Yes. With this mental health discussion, it's really good, because I'm someone who deal with a bit of mental health, bipolar, I don't know what to call it, mood swings, whatever they call that thing. I deal with that sometimes too, but I think my approach is different to it, because I don't take medicine and stuff like that. I lean on my faith. I think my faith is what carries me through. Another thing, I try to manage my mind. Like I try to develop a bilocal self-control. That is like, I try not to control everything that's going on. I try not to control all the outcomes. I let things flow.
Okay.
That's what I do sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's what really carries me through.
Okay. All right. Did you have anything to add to that, Chucky Thomas?
Yeah, I would say if you're showing signs of mental illness, or a family friend, whoever, I would say wisdom would be to advise that person to consult a mental health professional. There are people who go to school for this. Psychiatrists are doctors. They go to school for a long time. They study stuff that you don't know about. So you cannot attack this problem from a perception that because just like when you take your car to a shop, you don't know how they put an engine together, but you trust that they could fix your engine, right?
Right.
So they have knowledge that you don't have. So when you're dealing with mental illness, do not approach this like you got it figured out. Do not be a Rambo. Don't try to be a revolutionary. You need help. And if it's chemical, use the chemicals. If it's not chemical, you don't have to. But you need to go talk to somebody, depending on what it is, especially if you're suicidal. If you get to the point where you want to kill yourself, don't do this by yourself. Please go get some help. Talk to somebody. Talk to your pastor. Talk to your doctors. Do whatever you got to do, because your life is important. God has you here for a reason.
Absolutely.
So we don't want you to lose your life. Okay? That's it.
I just got something to say, because I grew up, being diagnosed with bipolar and all of this extra stuff. And I'm a firm believer that you do not need medication to get yourself together. Like Mariama said, you got to be around loved ones. You have to, like you just said, you have to talk about it. You have to express yourself and not hold things in. They have had me on medicine, Prozac, Ritalin. You know what I'm saying? I have been with ADS McKinley, and it's a group that helps young people and adults. And they tell you do not need that medicine to get better. That medicine makes some people worser than what they already are. That's medicine true. Made me worser. And it was just a thing of me letting my past go, me growing up in group homes, me not having a mother or a father that I felt loved me, So you don't need medication to get yourself better. Sometimes you just need a listening ear. Sometimes you need, genuine love. Sometimes you need, real good people around you. I lean to my faith also, because.
So I can identify with that, because I grew up, I went to a group home, and I grew up depressed, a depressed child. And I grew up with a lot of different things and a lot of different, I was in behavior disorder classes as a child. It was so many things happening to me from the age of 7 all the way through high school, and even entering into college, that was happening. And I've never been on any medication. I've always been labeled. I've always been a behavior disorder child. I would fight all the time, fight every day, because I was built up with so much anger, and I was filled with, and that was because of the things that was happening and going on in my environment. And so I agree with that, but different strokes again for different folks. Some people need the medicine. Some people need the medicine, or else they would be at that level of destruction. Right. And they need that medicine to calm them or to keep them, at a certain point. For me, I lean towards my faith as well. And it worked for me. It worked for Lady Ray, but that's not always the case for everybody.
Can I say something?
Sure.
So
absolutely.
Kay Jamison Redfield, she was on Oprah Winfrey's show.
Uh-huh.
She wrote a book called The Unquiet Mind, and she's bipolar. She works at Johns Hopkins, okay? And she's a psychologist, and she's bipolar. White lady. Okay, this lady is well known now. But guess what? In her book, just like the movie The Beautiful Mind, Russell Crowe, he's schizophrenic, right? He talks about not taking medication. He talked about how he refused it. But guess what happened to him? He kept having breakdowns. So he didn't want to take medicine, but he still hallucinates. So this lady wrote a book, Kay Jamison Redfield. Oprah had her on the show many times. And she's actually a respected person, and she's at one of the top hospitals in the country. So in her book, she detailed everything she went through. And guess what? I take the same medicine she takes.
Okay.
So my psychiatrist, because see, the Bible says that wisdom is to get counsel from people.
Mm-hmm.
So when you get counsel, you have to use your wisdom and exercise it. So sometimes if you operating in this realm, because this is a natural and spiritual realm. Mm-hmm. So people like Jamison Redfield, her father was in the Air Force. He was a pilot. He was a meteorologist. He was very eccentric, very smart, but he was bipolar. Mm-hmm. She became bipolar, right? Mm-hmm. So she wrote this book, and it's very powerful. I read it many times. So she talks about how if you don't want to take medicine, you're going to have to be in nervous breakdowns constantly until you accept it.
Okay.
Now, unfortunately, if we see what we're going through is denial. We don't accept this. Because we don't accept this, we go through a constant state. Well, we get someplace in life and then we can't function because we have not came to grips with what God is telling you. Something is wrong. Something is wrong with your body. So you need to have faith in that area. Now, there are ministers. See, when you go to church, right, and they talk about this, some pastors don't accept mental illness. Some people don't even accept medicine. So you got to be careful. But guess what? Over these years, how many people you know had cancer and died, but they said before they died, I'm going to have faith? How many people you know who said I'm going to take herbs, but then they die, right? So what's the issue here? Why do we fight medicine so much?
I agree with you.
But
at the same time, though, I have a very important and powerful question for you.
Wait, before you get to that question, can I chime in? Because it's about what they were talking about. So, like how you said, her speaking on being, and Lady Ray speaking on being labeled as a child, I feel like that's another problem that's going on with the mental health. I do not truly believe you two are bipolar, not knocking y'all doctors, because I believe, yes, bipolar and schizophrenia, those levels, I feel like totally right. You can't do it without medicine. Now, I don't walk in their shoes, but like I said, my
the thing for me,
was bipolar.
Hold on one second. But the thing for me, I've never been to the hospital to get diagnosed. I've never been to a doctor
so who gave you this label?
Get diagnosed. People in school, as coming up, they were putting me in those classes, behavior disorder classes, because they saw a pattern in my behavior. Because
and see, that's why I feel like it may have been misdiagnosed, because you wouldn't be a fully functioning adult. Like he said, it progressively over time got worse and worse. As stress as adult affects you, it doesn't get better. So I feel like we have to be careful with the labels we're even putting on things. In y'all's situation, yes, it was about building and I believe that in your situation too, right? It's about building your mental stamina to deal with her.
Oh, can I say something?
To deal with, the stress of life.
She said something that was really good about misdiagnosis. Okay. So I was in the military. They diagnosed me with schizoaffective.
Okay.
Which is a combination of schizophrenia and bipolar. Okay. Now, what I did when they diagnosed me, I said, I need a second opinion. So they sent me to Georgia to a military doctor, another base, and they put me through a process to evaluate me. Okay. They made me answer so many questions. They made me look at pictures. They made me do a lot of things. They made me do tests. And after this, they said, no, you're bipolar.
And I think that when we think in terms of solutions, we have to think about where the person is. Is it a surface level depression? Or like I keep going back to, are you affected by the weather? Are you affected by your social media? Because that's not things, I don't want you to freak out like, dang, I am depressed and sad. And this stuff you could have changed at the crib. He gave us so many different things to look for. You know, if you have not tried at all to get better, and then you know if you have truly tried everything, you know. So it's I agree with y'all. It's about knowing yourself.
Quick question before we wrap this up real quick.
Yes, with this discussion here, I deal with just a mild anxiety. That's how I look at it, like a mild anxiety thing, you know, like bipolar stuff like that. I don't think so. Like, as I said, I go to the doctor and I've never been diagnosed with none of those stuff. No one has ever diagnosed me, and no one has ever noticed these behavior or something
Feelings,
about
exactly.
me. No one
But
has
you
ever.
know how you
But
feel.
I know
you
how
know
I
what's
feel,
going
and I
on.
know what I've gone through. So as I said, the way I go through and the way I live is to manage my mind.
Yes.
You know, as I said, my
Mental
faith is
strength,
what I
yes.
ultimately lean on. You know, this thing where I accept the present moment just the way it is,
Yes.
without fighting, without
That's
pushing back.
happiness.
That's all I
That's
do.
happiness. If you're
No.
if you're
That's a
anxious, I
recipe.
tell everybody
That's
you're
the
living
recipe.
in the past
No,
for what was bad, or
I
you're
let the past go.
Yeah.
You know, I don't let it hurt me for no longer than
Exactly.
what it should.
living in the
I let
moment
it
makes
go.
you happy.
I let it go.
Okay,
The
hits.
moment, that's what we
Let me
live
say
in.
one thing and then I'm done, because I think people use bipolar as an excuse to get away with their actions. You
Some
know, okay, you have
people
a
do.
lot of people who are mentally sick, and then you have people, because nowadays the doctor is naming everybody bipolar.
Yeah, they throwing
Oh,
that
you're
label
bipolar.
around.
Oh, you're
Yes.
bipolar. At one time, it was rare hearing that. Now everybody in the USA is quote unquote bipolar, and I think a lot of people
Or
use
depressed.
that term.
Too
You can be
loosely.
depressed, but that, like you said,
It's too
change
used
what
too loose.
you're sad about, or change your environment, or change your surroundings. But don't be doing things out here like a lot of people out here killing people, getting away with murder because they have a mental problem.
And
They're
they
depressed,
say that
and it's
before
not
they
And
do
they're
it. They'll
bipolar.
tell you,
Absolutely,
I've
absolutely.
been diagnosed with this. I'm gonna get off if I do this. But
To get a
that's
check,
still
to get a,
double-edged
you know,
sword, because
whatever.
They might be warning
And
you at the
people
same
are
time, like, I
misusing
can't.
it because it's people. And I agree, people are really misusing it because it's people that's really sick that really need the medicine, but then they'll do something and then they'll throw it on. I got this going on.
Well, you can't be that bipolar unless you're diagnosed by a psychiatrist.
I know, but I'm saying, but people are saying it. People are saying, but right. But I'm gonna let hits because
Okay.
we gotta go.
Quick question before we wrap up real quick. Now, do you believe that medicine is more powerful than just having your trust and your faith and like being responsible for how you are in a spiritual life with God? Like, I understand that, you know, medicine could help you, but at the same time, if your salvation is strong, or, you know, you could find your home at a like early stage in that, do you feel like you can just trust God and guide your way through that? But I mean, I understand it's hard for people, and I understand a lot of people don't believe, which is true, but at the same time, that's why you have to get knowledge.
This is what I would say. For the purpose and intent, because I don't know who's listening to this.
Right.
I will not tell a person to deal with mental illness without a doctor.
Right.
Okay, so that's the first point. Then the second point is everybody that's bipolar may eventually get to a place where they don't need medicine. My doctor told me that, because even though you're on medicine, it's your chemistry, your body adjusts to it, first of all. And depending on your stressors, depending on what you got going on, your body is constantly adapting. So sometimes they have to change your medicine. And when they change your medicine, you may get sick. They just changed my medicine last October, and I'm just now adjusting. It's been 9 months. I was sleeping a lot. I wasn't energetic. I wasn't creative. I couldn't really function. I wasn't eating as much. I was waking up and having to go to the washroom in the morning, couldn't sleep. But it took but you know why I endured it? You know why I went through that process and stayed the course? Now, while I was going through, I kept going to the doctor. Hey, man, this is wrong with me. My sex drive changed. I didn't want to have sex. I'm just being honest. Because this is serious.
Absolutely.
I felt like I wasn't connected to my body no more. I felt like I wasn't here no more. So while I'm going through this, I'm going to my doctor every week. I'm emailing him every day. Hey, man, I'm experiencing this. He said, okay, I'm going to change this. I'm going to change that. I'm going to change. And then it got to a place where, boom, I'm functioning right. Now, was that easy? No. Will I advise this? Do I think this is a beautiful thing? No. But guess what? It's healthy for me. It's healthy because now that I'm here, I'm able to articulate, I'm able to function, and I could tell you what it's like. Now, I've been on a lot of medicines. I've been on pretty much everything they got. Some of it made me sick. But guess what? I've learned that I wasn't on the medicine long enough. I didn't allow the medicine to metabolize. So because
and that's important.
Because I'm going against medicine, I'm not giving the medicine a chance. So yeah, temporarily I do get sick. I get to the point where it makes me like a zombie, you know. But listen to Kanye. Kanye telling you the story right now. Kanye was quiet for a long time, wasn't he? He went through something. Now he's able to articulate. There's a reason for that. He had to get on medication. From my point, you need it.
That's great, Chucky Thomas. That's great. It's.
What's
Did I answer your question? Oh,
yeah.
So I think both. You need both. You need
Yeah.
medicine and your faith
Yeah.
to answer your question. Neither one is more important.
Facts.
Yeah,
Thank
I would
you.
definitely agree with that. For different folks, different strokes.
Absolutely.
Some people have it really hard and they need that medication to get them on the. But and then another set of people can deal with it, can manage.
Yeah.
Like I personally go through my stress and I manage. I
manage.
Same here, bro.
I
For
do.
real.
I do well. I believe
Yeah.
so. As you talk about like breakdown and stuff like that in the future, as I said, I accept the moment. I accept it. I don't believe I'm going to go before my time. Whatever time I'm going to go, that's my time to go. That's just how I live. I don't fight with reality. I let it just flow.
See,
That's
I'm
deep.
a logical
That's
person.
that's
That's
deep.
just how I go through.
I'm a more mental logical person. Like everything for me is
Right.
everything for me is like a long drawn thought out process. So for me, I don't feel like it was bad enough to need medicine. I do believe that I depended a lot on my faith, but I'm a researcher. There's actionable steps. You Google everything else, you look up music. There's actionable steps that you can do every day. And it's little things as writing every day in the morning why you're grateful. I'm talking about I'm grateful for the trees. I'm grateful to take my daughter to the park. I'm grateful to enroll in this school. Start your day with that. Like it's actionable things that you get up and do every day to fill your soul. It's not that surface. You know what I'm saying? I feel like when you make that decision, come back, Millennial Mariama 2 to 3. We'll jump back in. I'll give you 10 steps to improve your mental health that you can do today.
All right. So we're about to wrap it up, you all. Thank you for listening, my loves. Windy City Underground,
Definitely
your music, your
appreciate our
station.
strong guests that came through. Definitely a good time having you. I appreciated the convo.